Okay, so I'm going to start up this broadcast, and in case someone's actually watching, remember you should be on the Schoology course in discussion number 0 to bring up any discussions. I'm going to bring up the chat here on the right of this video, as well as the question. Oh, I can bring up question and answers or chat, so I'll bring up the chat and see if anyone's hooking into the chat here. I should also bring up the control room. Oh, that's not what I need. There we go. I want to load up this. There we go. Toolbox, so I can have my name and Twitter handle underneath my video. That's if you're in Hangouts at all, it's called the Hangout Toolbox. And that's kind of useful. I'll wait and see if you guys show up. Video session. Oops. I'm live in the video session. Join me or ask questions here. Let me bring up that link so I can share that with everybody. Session number 0. I'll post that, see if anyone comes in. Discussion number 0, I'll just go to the bottom here. Okay. Let's see if Rocio comes in. Who said he was going to come? So maybe this will ping him. I'll share my screen there. So people can see what we're working on. We're going to talk about the 4 pillars of flipped learning today: flexible environment learning, culture, intentional content, and professional educator. Spells out flip. I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about both submission 1 and submission 0, since submission 1 is due next weekend. Submission 0 is your introductory video. So we'll talk about those today, and if you have any doubts about how that works. I'll show you a couple of the things, like we have our Facebook group, Flipped Learning Latin America, that you should join. And talk a little bit about Flip Class Twitter, on Twitter. So I'll bring that up. I'm going to get this out of the way. Don't need to see my private messages on Twitter. Maybe I'll bring over this one. This looks interesting. And Tech 21 perhaps. And let's see what else we got over here that might be interesting for people. No, Edmonton Oilers are probably not that interested in. I'll bring this over. I haven't been using it very much because my students just don't use Twitter. I'll this up here. Discussion 0. See if anyone drops in. Go back to video. I'm hoping these Saturday morning sessions work good. It's a good time for everyone to come on. We'll find out. Again, these are totally optional. The focus of the course is for you to go over the material I presented as assignments and then give me your reflections. And not just me, give to everyone in the class your reflections on what you think flipped learning is and how it affects you and how are you going to apply it, with the goal at the end to design your first flipped lesson. We're still a little early here. It's 5 minutes to 9, so wait for you guys to show up. I'll have to make, as usual, make notes on the YouTube recorded video for when we actually get going, so people don't have to watch boring dead air. Should put some background music on, is what I should do. Few people that haven't signed into Schoology, but we're doing pretty well. I think it was about 5 people. So hopefully they get into the course pretty quickly. You have assignment number 0 will be due on Wednesday, I believe, if I have that date correct. 0 is, yeah, it's due Wednesday, October 15th by midnight. And submission 1 is due the next Saturday after this one, October 18th. I believe Rocio was going to come on. Arturo might come on. I'm hoping Hueb can connect from China. He can connect to us here. Late evening for him. Got my other computer over here so I can look at any questions that might come in. Just gotta keep reloading it. And looks like Hardwick's there. If you have a Google Plus ID, then I can invite you. What I'll do this week as well, I can see your comments there, Hardwick. We'll do this week because I'll set up some just other Google Hangout sessions during the week that if anyone wants to do a Hangout, we can practice it during the week, schedule something. Remember, you can always make appointments with me at my you can book me address, kembauer.youcanbook.me. Looks like Hardwick's there, and we'll see if anyone else shows up here. Yeah, you need a Google Plus ID, so you need to be able to go to plus.google.com and be logged in. If you have that, I can invite you to this video chat. The only person that I found that's actually active in Google Plus besides me is Rocio Gomez-Tagle there in Monterrey. Or Arturo has an account as well, so hopefully he comes in. And actually, Guadalupe Iniguez does as well, but she told me she won't be here today. I'll keep reloading this page on discussion 0 Hardware, and then if you have questions, you can post it there. Can't really watch too many channels at once, so it'll make it tricky. We'll see if you can get into this. In the meantime, I'm just going to go refill my coffee. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Just got to go to the kitchen. Sure where I'm putting my headphones on since nobody's here to hear yet. One can hope. So yes, Hartwig, you definitely want to enter with your webcam. You need to create a Google Plus ID. So if you can create a Google Plus, let me share my screen here. So do a screen share. I'm going to screen share, I guess, that one. And then I'll go over here. So if you go to plus.google.com, you should show your own login. Say this is my login page. If you don't, you're going to have to create your own Google Plus ID, which is attached to any Google Mail or Google Apps application you have. Good morning, buddy. I'm in a meeting, okay? Okay, I'll talk to you later, okay? Thank you, bud. All right, so yeah, you'll need to create your Google profile. And then actually what happens is if you go to googleplus.com, plus.google.com/me, this will redirect to what your address is. It redirects. And you'll notice that my user is plus Ken Bauer. So if I send someone that, or this whole URL, they can find me. And if I could find you, then I'd be able to add you easily to this conversation. For example, here's Rosia Gomez Tagle, who should be joining us shortly, I hope. There she is. So that's how that works. Let me stop screen sharing there. I'll go back to video. Let's see if that helped. Boom, 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 boom. First session is always a debugging session. See if I've got some notifications. This event's live. Okay, yeah, I can see your comments in YouTube because obviously you have a YouTube user, Hartwig. But we need to get a Google Plus user to get into that. Let's see if there's a way I can just open this event to be completely public and anyone can join. Manage guest list. So I've invited you as your Addy TesmMX address, maybe because you're using some other address like a Gmail or something. You're not getting permission. So if you send me your other address that you're using to connect to Google, I can add you. Edit event. No, there's nothing else I need to do there. Basically, you need to get in as an invitation to be able to get into the web chat through Google Plus. Yeah, so if you got a Google Plus account, I need you to link it here in the comments on Schoology, then I can add you. So please link your user. The URL to find yourself is http://google.com/me. So if you do that, and I'll see if I can get you hooked in. Boom, 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 boom. I see we have 5 viewers, so that's useful. I can't really see who they are, though. wondering if I can see that over here. Confusing though if I'm watching myself on a YouTube live stream. Yeah, I don't want to watch myself while I'm recording because that's confusing. There we go. I've got your address, Hardwick. I'll see if I can add you now. So invite. That works. So I sent out that invitation to you, Hardwick, at the Yahoo address you sent me in the Schoology. Let's see if that works. I think you can use a yahoo.com as a Google login, but I'm not sure. So I haven't used yahoo.com for ages, since the 1990s, I think. I pretty well switched over to Gmail in about 2004. So I guess it's been 10 years now. Wow. Time flies. So we'll wait a couple more minutes, see if we can get some people connected. If not, I'm just going to kind of go over things with a screen share of stuff I want you to know about, make sure you're hooked in for this week, and then see if we can get people hooked up to do a more interactive session next week. Load this comment page over here. Okay, so I guess your Yahoo is your Google Plus account. Let's see if that works. Using Yahoo since '98. Yeah, that sounds about right. I can't remember when I did my Yahoo account. It was ages ago. I still have it though. So remember, let me do the screen share here while we're seeing if Rocio or Toodle or Hardwick shows up on the share the screen again. Okay, so you should be able to see my discussion for steps in Schoology. Reload that comment page again. Nope, nothing else so new there. So this is the discussion steps in Schoology. Actually, I could just look at the bottom here, and I'll reload that. So this is when we're having our conversations weekly, the plan is either during the conversation on Saturday or the idea is before. So after today's session, you should probably jump into discussion number 1 of the first session, which will be our discussion coming up to next week. That's what we can use for talking during our sessions. For each particular assignment, so if submission number 0, why am I here? I want you to make a video of you talking about why you want to take this course, what you expect to learn. So if you go into that submission here, I'll take a look at it. Again, English or Spanish is fine. The topic, the details are all here below. And I talk about my philosophy or how I like to do these courses. So I want us to have a conversation here, not just students submitting material to the professor. And this is the way my classes work as well. So I want discussions here. So any of your answers should be linked here in the comments. Gabriela and Hartwig have already done some comments here, and I answered them, so that this helps everybody see what everyone else is doing and learn from each other, as well as sharing what you're working on. So what I want for this first assignment, which is due on Wednesday, but I'm really going to be flexible about this. I'm fine if it's later. Post a short 30 seconds, a 1-minute video or screen capture. Just get someone to take their phone and record you about what you want to get out of this course. It could be a short essay as well. Okay, do both. You could post it as a blog post. Some people did that during the summer. If you want to learn about blogging, go for it. Or just put it in a Dropbox or SkyDrive or whatever your way of sharing Google Documents. Just make sure if you have it in a shared place that shared place is visible publicly. Not necessarily searchable publicly, but if you pass that URL to anybody, they can see the document. So that's pretty easy from Dropbox. Some people tend to mess that up in Google Drive, but we'll see how that goes, and I'll let you know if I can't see it. The other thing that's important on these assignments, it's not a big deal because we're not a lot of us, is when I have, say, 50 students or more, I need you to actually submit something. So there'll be a button over here saying submit. I don't really need you to submit my video because you're going to put the link to your video here in the comments. What I need you to submit basically anything. Actually, what I tell my students is submit me some picture or a icon or some kind of animated GIF, whatever you want to make me laugh when I'm marking your assignments, because really the content is submitted as a comment here on the post. So notice at the bottom of each of these pages in Schoology, there's a place to write comments, and that's where I actually want you to submit. Don't just submit a link. If you're going to put a link to your YouTube video or wherever your video is or your document, try to convince people to click on it, right? If you just throw a link up there, people don't know what's behind that link, and if they see 20 links from 20 different assignments, they need to make a decision of which thing to click on, just like anything else on the internet. So you need to be good at selling. Why do I want to click there? Obviously, me, since I'm giving the course, I'm going to click on all of them. But you probably want to convince your colleagues to go in, click on it, and then comment on each other's submissions to let them know how that's going. I'm going to reload this page over here and see if I can get some more questions or comments. I'm just going to try and enter through the Hangout. Where do I check whether I already got your invitation session? Okay, Alejandro Para, I see yours. I'm going to see if I can, thank you. So I'm going to stop the screen sharing and see if I can invite Alejandro Para, Gmail account here. Okay, and I'm going to try to invite Hartwig again with his Yahoo. Where is it? It's already. Oh, there it is. H. Let's see if it works. So both of you should have got invites again. I just posted those invitations to Hartwig as well as to Alejandro Para. We'll see if that goes through. I've got the full hour here, so I'm not going to run away on you. And I don't want to make this recording too long for everyone who has to watch it to be boring. And I started it at least 10 minutes before time, so I don't want to make everyone's brain bleed by having to watch a long video. So Alejandro and Hartwig, I sent out invitations again. We'll see if that works for the Hangout session. And so let me go back to screen sharing again. So I'll go back to screen sharing. There we go. We'll talk about submission. So submission 0, we talked about that. This is basically, why do you want to take this course? What do you think you're going to get out of it? And why are you interested in flipped learning? Perhaps talk about what you already know, your fears or concerns you have about how it's going to work for you in your class with your students. Then I'm going to look at submission number 1, which we want to work on during next week. So the idea is more or less one per week, except for that submission 0 is a very short introductory about you. Submission number 1 is flexible environment, which is the first pillar of flipped learning. And here I actually linked to Kari Afsham's post on the 4 pillars and 11 indicators of flipped learning, so you can go and look at that, download the PDF. I actually have a bunch of these in my office, but the idea is we're going to reflect on flexible environment, learning culture, intentional content, professional educator as the first 4 assignments. The last assignment will be create a flipped lesson for one of your classes, and the one after that, after the last assignment, will be feedback from me and reflection for you on what you did during the course. So I gave you some pointers here. Again, the same context. You produce your video, you produce your document you want to write about. Some people like more writing and some people like more video. If you're really big on video, I'm fine, just do the video. But try to write a comment saying why people should come and watch your video. If you're really big on writing, that's good. Write a good, nice essay. And Joel says China blocks everything, so it's pretty hard to stay connected. I'll keep trying via VPN. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. How many students are with us right now in the course? Let me take a look. How many are actually watching? I don't know, because I only see Hardwig, I see Alejandro, and I see Joel actually commenting here. So I'm guessing you're looking at the stream. How many members are in the course right now? There's about 20 of us total. So again, back to submission number 1, flexible environment. What I do with these is I want you to reflect on the concept of flexible environment, the description of that pillar. In the pillar, it asks, I establish spaces and time frames that permit students to interact and reflect on their learning as needed. I continually observe and monitor students to make adjustments as appropriate. And I provide students with different ways to learn the content, not what we think is just the standard way. I gave you some recommended reading. There's a link to Brian Bennett, who works for TechSmiths. He does a lot of good writing on flipped learning, as one of the leaders in the area. Then I also linked to a couple other things. I'm sorry, this link didn't work, but you can just copy paste off of there. And then a YouTube video that actually Erica shared with us in the previous course I gave in the summer. I repeat my instructions. Please do the discussions here on the assignment. Post your short video, a short essay if you want. And important again, when you're submitting, please click a button that's going to be here and let me know that you've submitted it so I can give you the points. It's the way I explain it to my students in my classes. So let's see, I don't think anyone else joined in. I'm going to reload that discussion again and see if I can see if anyone's there. Reload. So that's it for the submissions. I talked about the 4 pillars of flipped learning. This is Brian Bennett's post. You're probably going to have some preconceptions about what flipped learning is. This is a post from a couple of years ago where Brian's talking about that the Flipped Classroom book just came out. I linked an excerpt to you for the first chapter 3 of the Flipped Classroom book, which is the classic green book by John and Aaron. A second book came out. I actually have those, and I have copies in my office. If you want to borrow one and you're on campus, I can lend you a copy. I don't have lots. And so I want you to go through, read what I link, but don't just stop there. And this is what I tell my students as well. What you should be doing is say if you're watching a YouTube video about flipped learning, and YouTube's fun because it drags you down a hole and says, hey, here's another thing that's related to that YouTube video you've watched. If you see the interesting links to either videos or articles, please share them with everyone here. Okay, there's that flip handout on the flipped learning. So that's what I want you to do there. Don't just go with the minimum of what I provide. I want you to find your own. So especially if you're in a different domain, if you're teaching physics, you want to look for relevant flipping material for physics. If you're in history, you want to look for the same. If you look back on what I linked earlier, the videos I made, as well as links in the tools section, I linked to flipping physics, and I linked to Keith Hughes's work in his flipping of history. So there's that. Let me go back to the top of the Schoology. Again, oops, wrong place. go to our course in Schoology. And basically the outline is there's assignments in one folder, there's discussions in another folder. I'm using Schoology because I like it much more than our standard platform, and it is permitted. We can talk about that more later. And if you're interested in using it more, I can help you with that. The deadlines are on the right. Again, deadlines are flexible. You can also look at our course kind of like a Facebook page where there's this updates link on the left, and you can just post something here. So I wanted to talk about that. There's a grade book, but we're not worried about that right now. You might be able to see members. I don't know if you can. One thing to notice is there's this notifications icon up here on the top right. You probably want to either put everything on so you get email notifications of everything that happens in the course, or you might want to filter down to only get email about the things that you really worry about. Your choice. I have everything turned on, so if anybody sends a update or a reply on any of these pages, I get an email alert, and that lets me know that I should go in and take a look at it. The other thing you might be interested in, because this is Schoology, is if you have an Android or iPhone device. I have an Android device. There is an application for Schoology for Android, and there's also one for iOS for your iPad or your iPhone. If you're interested in interacting through that, you can do that as well. I have it installed. And our Facebook group, I think I posted the link to it already, but we have a Facebook group which is called Flipped Learning Latin America that John convinced me to create last December. And so I created that back in December, and it's growing. We're almost at 300 members. You can interact with the community of us applying flipped learning there. The other thing you should take a look at is if you don't have a Twitter account, create a Twitter account and follow the hashtag #FlipClass. I'm going to reload this again, see if any other questions came in through the discussion number 0. I don't see any other questions, and nobody seems to be able to connect. So what we might want to do during the week is, if you want to sit down with me in my office, or make an email me, and we'll coordinate that we can try and do another connection. Just the 2 of us or the 3 of us, and make sure you can connect to this session on Saturdays. Again, the Saturday session is totally optional. It's basically an hour I'm setting aside to ask and answer questions that you may have. By the end of next week, since you're going to be getting ready to submit that first actual assignment on flexible environment, we can have a discussion here, and that's how it worked during the summer. Okay. Anyone else got any questions? Can anyone actually join in? Load up this page again. Check my email and see if anyone was spamming me an email saying, I can't connect. Let's see. Joel replied. A bunch of replies from Hartwig. Sorry, I'm just checking my email to make sure nobody's panicking, sending me questions via email as opposed to through the course. It doesn't look like it. So if there's nothing else for questions, we'll probably wrap up here quickly. I'm going to take my kids off to catechism this morning and go to a baptism. Dum, bum, bum, bum. No? Okay. It's also probably obvious, but I don't say it. Send me an email anytime. If I get an email, it makes my phone ring, and I'll answer you pretty well immediately. I'm very reachable. If you can't find me and contact me, it's because you're not really trying. I'm extremely connected to the internet and available whenever someone needs me. Okay, I'll wait around for a second here and see if there's any more questions coming in through discussion number 0. Yeah, you can't connect. The Google Plus site isn't really a site, Alex, so we need to debug this and make sure we can get you connecting to the actual web chat. Let's see. Yeah, there's no, if you're not connected, you can't use the group chat that we're using here on the Google Hangouts on Air. The reason I'm using Google Hangouts on Air, it actually worked really well last semester or in the summer, is it allows me to connect to people remotely. I had teachers in Querétaro, um, where else? In Querétaro, Obregón, in Sinaloa, in San Luis Potosí, and some other campuses connecting during our sessions that we did like this in the summer. It worked really well to get people connected. The only limitation is we can only have up to 10 people, I think, connected. Doesn't seem to be a problem because I'm the only one today. But it worked well last semester. We just had someone in each campus connect and then broadcast the Hangout to everyone else. And then some people, if they couldn't make it, they just watched the session after. It won't be very interesting watching this session today, but they've said it was interesting to watch the viewpoints of everyone making discussions about the topic of the week in the sessions we did last summer. Those are recorded and available on YouTube, actually, so if you go to my YouTube channel, they're there. I'll send a link to it via our updates on the Schoology course, so if you're interested, you can go back and look at the ones we did in the summer. That's kind of answering Alex's question there. Oh, there's Arturo. So you're watching and listening. Nobody wants to join me today, or the ones that want to join me can't seem to do it. So yeah, you can do questions here. I'd rather try to get as many people connected to have it more interactive in the Google Hangout, but we didn't do that today. Hopefully we'll get that debugged and we'll have a more interesting discussion instead of just listening me drone on and show you screen shares. So those of you that didn't catch the whole thing, you can go back and listen. You might want to jump ahead about 10 minutes because the first 10 minutes is me getting connected early and drinking coffee, basically. I'll hit the reload button here on discussion number 0 and see if there's any other questions. No, it doesn't look like it. We have 28 comments there. Cheers to Joel there on a Saturday evening in China, 10:25 p.m. for him. For those that are worried about the video, really relax. Use a webcam or use a camera and have someone record you in front of a whiteboard, or just have someone use a camera and record you talking to the camera. You don't have to go crazy with production. You don't have to be the level of flipping physics or Keith Hughes. Just record something, and this is actually why I want you to record things for your assignments on this course. Is some of you probably have never recorded before, and you want to break the ice and get used to it and find that it's really not that difficult to do screencasts once you've done it a few times. So that's why I'm forcing that on you. Let's see, I think that's it. The other way, of course, to interact with me is via... there's a question from Hoyle. No, don't worry about it, Hoyle. You're fine. No, you don't need to via the Google Plus and the chat. Just communicating via the Schoology is fine. It's more interesting to have people to talk to, but no, you can just do it through that. It's fine. All right, I'll reload again here on the discussion 0 and see if anything shows up. You won't get a live feed on this discussion 0, so any of these pages on Schoology, if you want to see if there's new comments, you got to hit the reload button, by the way, which is what I'm doing. Okay, so I guess that'll be it for now. I'll kind of make a quick video session, or not a video session, I'll record myself probably tomorrow and just touch base with you, let you know what you should be working on, and you should be doing this assignment number 0 again, which is your submission number 0, which is why am I here, and you should be working on submission number 1, which is flexible environment, and those will be due during the next week. Okay, now I'll hit the reload button one more time to see if there's anything else. Oh, there's Pablo Alvarez. Tostado. Okay, so I see your comment, Pablo. Yeah, it's hard to get adjusted to this online session, so we'll see if we can debug this during the week. Definitely, if you're on campus, come and talk to me this. You can't come and talk to me this week unless you see me really quickly. Send me emails and we'll get back and forth on this, because I'm going to be away in Korea. I leave on Monday afternoon, and I won't be back till Friday evening. And so I'll be back here for the Saturday, but we definitely want to get the video debugged if possible. Really, the idea is interact online through discussions on the Schoology session. You can do everything just online with writing, and then record your own videos of your reflection of things. If you have any doubts and you're confused, send me an email and say what's going on, and I will answer in detail over the email if you need it that way. I, of course, prefer discussing through the Schoology, because then if you have a question that someone else just didn't bother to ask because they were thinking it was a dumb question, and there are no dumb questions, everyone gets the benefit of the reply inside the learning management system, Schoology. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Pablo. Let's see if anything else shows up. If you're fine, you can leave. You don't have to hang out completely. Again, remember, this is completely optional. The Saturday morning sessions, I'll be here to try and get people connected. All right, I'll answer that via text here in a second. It's hard to type and do video at the same time here. Okay, boom, boom. I'll just check in and see if there's any other alerts via email, as well as discussion 0. Oh, looks like I covered all of them. Wait a couple minutes. So Hardwick, it would be really easier to do the online kind of question and answer thing in Schoology is much better as asynchronous, where someone asks a question, anyone can answer. It doesn't have to be me, of course. The idea with the video session is try to get a discussion going. Looks like we didn't get too many people connected today. Maybe today's not a good day to do it on Saturday mornings. I do it Saturday mornings, trying to do it early enough that it won't cut your day in half, and not so early, because I'm the kind of person that wakes up at 5 a.m. and that's probably way too early for most people. Okay, so anything about the course content, about the assignments, what you should be doing is commenting not in a random place on the learning management system, but you should be commenting, say if you're working on assignment 0, you should be commenting there right below assignment 0. This is one thing I like about Schoology, is that my students don't have to go to a different page, a different forum to ask questions about each of the assignments. They just post a comment right underneath the assignment itself, and then everything about that assignment stays together on a single page. So I find that that's much more helpful for my students in my classes. I'll keep reloading here the discussion. No, nothing else coming in. It's got to be mind-numbingly boring just watching myself talk in this video. But we'll see if we can get people connected for Saturday. Okay. In the summer, it actually the sessions where we connected live were actually pretty interactive and interesting. Again, I'll send you a link to those videos. They're all up and recorded on YouTube. But a lot of the discussions happened inside the forum. Okay, inside, not the forums, inside the Schoology, inside the discussions on each assignment is where a lot of deep discussions started happening, of people going back and forth about comments of what each other of them were looking at, commenting on their videos or what they were writing. All right, so there's Alex. Looks like you're good there. So yeah, go and make your video about what you know about Flipped Classroom, what your worries are, what your hopes are, and I'm looking forward to seeing that during this week. Again, make sure you don't just submit it to me, read the instructions there. Share your video with everyone in the course as a comment below the given assignment, so that everyone gets a chance to, if they want to, watch everyone else's videos or read their essays or blog posts or whatever they want to use as their format for communicating. Again, you don't have to do the written part. I really want to stress the video part, because for most of you, you know how to write already and you've done a lot of writing. breaking through this idea of actually sharing your writing a lot is sometimes new. But I want everyone to start doing videos because it's probably something new for you, and we can all use practice doing it. All right, so I think I'll wrap this up because it's 9:30 and I've been just talking at the screen here for 40 minutes. Again, any questions, post it through the Schoology LMS. There's some of you that aren't in yet. I sent email to all the people that have not got into Schoology. Make sure you're in. I'll monitor and make sure that the people that are registered for the course but not inside do get inside. If you have colleagues that want to join, go ahead and join. We still got time to jump into it. If they want credit, of course, they need to talk to the folks at Desarrollo Académico to get credit for the course. And but I'm happy. 50, 60 people. There's no problem in numbers. So more the merrier, and then we get more interaction between us on each of our presentations. All right. So I'm going to hit the reload button just one more time, which I've said 20 times. And it looks like that's about it. So I'm going to close up this. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for coming to the course. And I hope we get everything covered that you want to look at during this course. Again, you really need to ask. It's definitely student-driven learning. So thanks. Have an excellent weekend, and I'll see you all next Saturday online, and I'll see you during the entire week online in Schoology. All right, have a good day.